Hi, everybody. So as soon as we finished recording this episode, Pasquale from Day Trip announced that they were going to be moving the festival to the Nas Event Center in San Bernardino. So enjoy the episode, but obviously we're talking a lot here about the new venue being SoFi Stadium. That's no longer the case. The festival will be held at the Nas Event Center in San Bernardino, and there's a lot of other information about that change available online. Enjoy.
You are now listening to Can't Feel the Heat, the unofficial podcast about the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. Our mission is to explore the complexities of Coachella, covering the news, music, artists, technology, and business of the festival. Please rate us on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on all of your favorite platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Can't Feel the Heat and check out our website at www.can'tfeeltheheat.com. Can't Feel the Heat is hosted by Tom Nash and Vanessa Franko.
Welcome back to Can't Feel the Heat. I'm Tom.
I'm Vanessa.
Our guest today is Rico Lopez. What's up, Rico?
Hey, what's up, man? Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome back. Rico was one of our first guests, and we made a great episode where Rico shared all of his amazing tips for camping, and he was also an early co-host on a few episodes, so really good to have things come full circle and bring you back as a guest, Rico.
I know, right? It's been a while, but I'm glad to be back.
We start each episode with a news update. What is going on, Vanessa, with festival-related and Coachella-related news?
There's been a lot of news since we last talked. Goldenvoice seems to be moving all of the non-desert festivals to the Rose Bowl. Technically, Brookside at the Rose Bowl, which is the really nice golf course next to the Rose Bowl, it's where Arroyo Seco Weekend was. It's where they had the Cure's Pasadena Daydream. So there are two big festivals happening there that we've heard of before that I think our listeners are going to be really into because they have lots of Coachella connections. The big one I think we are all excited about is Just Like Heaven, happening May 21st, 2022. We got Interpol. We got Modest Mouse. We got The Shins. We got MIA. We've got Chromeo, who are like everywhere. Yeah. We've got Franz Ferdinand. It's going to be, this seems like a Coachella lineup from the year 2008 to me.
Yeah, I love it. It's going to be, I'm going. We got our tickets already. I guess that means none of these artists will play Coachella. Is that right?
Not true. I think we could theoretically see them because the radius clause is for non-Goldenvoice shows. So theoretically, we could see somebody on here also play Coachella. Like, it wouldn't be, I don't think it's likely, but it could definitely happen. I mean, I just hope that MIA doesn't come back because I still am scarred for life after her 2008 set with all the air horns. Like, I hear an air horn and I'm just taken back to the field. Like, it was very traumatic for me.
Really? Just that sound effect rubs you the wrong way?
Oh, it was just like all the time. It was like the whole set was like the air horn, and then she had just had her baby, so it was the baby crying. It was a very weird night. And remember, she was on the bill because Amy Winehouse was supposed to be there, and then Amy Winehouse couldn't come to the U.S. because of her visa. That was a weird thing. So I hope that MIA leaves the air horns at home. But I'm pretty excited about this. I also think it's funny that Wolf Parade is performing Apologies to the Queen Mary, since the Queen Mary was the former site of Just Like Heaven.
That's hilarious.
Right? They had the first one, and I went to the first one. That's like the Rapture played, the Yaz played, Phoenix played. It was really, really great. Like, I really loved it. So I have high hopes. I have high hopes for this. I'm glad you're going.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm jealous you get to go, Tom. That first lineup they had, I was just like, wow, this is such a good lineup. They had that just like that early 2000s, just, kind of like vibe going on that you just want to get back to. So this one sounds awesome as well. So I'm jealous that you're going to go, Tom.
And here's the thing about festivals too, is it's often not the best place to see new bands just because of, it's outside. The sound might not be that good. But festivals are where it works really well is like nostalgia. Like if you're seeing a band that you already know and you already know a lot of their songs and just kind of hang out and check it out.
Yeah.
That works a lot better for festivals usually, right? So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. There are some other festivals announced too, right, Vanessa?
Well, yeah. So we have Just Like Heaven. Goldenvoice is doing another one that kind of looks like Coachella throwbacks of years past. That's called Cruel World. That was supposed to happen last year during COVID, before COVID canceled everything. And that's like much more early 80s, new wave. That's happening at the same venue next to the Rose Bowl. That's happening May 14th and 15th. Like they already added a second day because the first day sold out. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing the same thing for Just Like Heaven. But this one's got more Coachella throwbacks. I mean, we're talking Devo, Morrissey, The Violent Femmes, The Damned, Public Image Limited. Like one of the only newer bands on it is Black Audio. And they also played Coachella at one point, I believe. So it's really wild. And they're like really leaning in to Pasadena. And at that point, like in May, that should still be pretty nice. Like we shouldn't be roasting like we will be in the desert, theoretically. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Cool. Then there's another one, because I mean, like I said, there's so many festivals. Once Upon a Time in LA was announced. If it sounds like Once Upon a Time in the LBC, it's very similar. Snoop Dogg is behind this, but he's not working with Goldenvoice this time. He's working with Live Nation. It's going to be in December at the Bank of California Stadium. That's, where the LA Football Club plays. Snoop Dogg's on it, Ice Cube's on it, Al Green, the Isley Brothers. That's like a monster day of music. So that's going to be really interesting. And that's happening before the year is out in Southern California. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more happen at the end of the year because our weather is a lot better than, the rest of the country. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about that venue. I've never been there, but I'm going to go see Rufus Du Sol there in the fall. So it's cool to check that out. Have you been there before?
I haven't yet because I wanted to go see the Misfits. And for some reason, I ended up not covering that. And then I was going to see something there last year. And then obviously coronavirus happened. So I'm pretty excited. That might be my first show there, or maybe the Rufus Du Sol show. It seems pretty cool. I've heard really good things about it. I just haven't been there yet.
Great. Well, thanks for the news update. So this episode's going to be a little different. We're going to talk about Day Trip, which is a new music festival happening this upcoming weekend, July 3rd and 4th. And we're all going, and we're so excited. We just had to make an episode kind of previewing the lineup. So you might think, okay, you're supposed to be the Coachella podcast, but hey, it's our podcast. We can do what we want. But we're going to tie in a lot of Coachella artists and talk about kind of how this festival and the promoter Insomniac might compare to Coachella. So Day Trip was supposed to be in my hometown, San Pedro, on the waterfront. And last week, which is like 12 days before the actual festival, surprise announcement, they're moving it to the parking lot of the brand new SoFi Stadium. At first, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's kind of cool just to check out the stadium grounds. But then I was just thinking about it, and it's like, okay, well, it went from waterfront, and they sold the image right on the website of, stages right on the water, to a parking lot. And it caused a big uproar. Overwhelming, the response was very negative on social media. There was really no explanation given other than they wanted a bigger venue. Eventually, Pasquale Rotella, who is founder and main guy behind Insomniac, the promoter, explained that there's actually really good logistical reasons, and basically that venue just wasn't ready. They weren't going to have the security and other infrastructure that they needed to be ready for the festival.
I have questions about that, Tom. I have questions because that area has held festivals before. Like we've seen some punk festivals happen there. So I have more questions. Here I am, the journalist. I'm like, I need to get to the bottom of this. So if you see me on Saturday, maybe I'll be asking people those questions. Why are we here? Why are my shoes melting on the concrete? Help.
Yes, it's great use of your journalism skills for you to dig into that a little bit and get the full scoop. Do you think you'll be able to find something out? Do you got those tools in your toolkit?
No, but I mean, that's not going to stop me from asking. I mean, it would just be like, oh, why are we here? What happened? Because I mean, I was like, as I was just telling you, I was actually on vacation last week and blissfully unplugged. And then suddenly I found out that the venue was changing. And I'm like, what? What's happening? And why? I don't want to be in a parking lot. This isn't Warped Tour. I'm too old for this now. So I don't know. I don't know about this, guys.
Well, the vibe around it kind of shifted when they announced they were going to give free shuttles and free parking. And, the venue map came out. It actually looks like it's going to be kind of cool. They've got they're going to have the full Insomniac experience with different shaded areas and misters. They released more tickets, so it's going to be a bigger event now. Ticket prices went back up after taking a big dive. So, how do you prepare to cover a new festival like this, Vanessa? What's your mindset going in? How do you spend your day when you're there? Tell us a little bit more about what it's like.
This is going to be a really interesting one, right? Because most of the festivals I cover, I have some kind of idea of what's going to happen. Like, I've never seen a festival change venues like this, a week and a half before the show. So for me, like, it's going to require more prep, like, because I need to I'm glad that you said that the venue map was out. I haven't even had a chance. I'm still digging through my 1,600 emails I missed, trying to figure out where things are, how to get there, like some of the logistics stuff. And, when you're covering something at a new venue, the number one thing people want to know about is, well, what's it like going to things at this venue? Because if they start having other things there, people want to know, well, what was it like? Was there shade? Like, how much was the water? Are there real bathrooms, or are you using a porta potty? So one of the things that I'm going to be looking at for this one that's a bit different is kind of more of the experience and what it's like to have this festival there. Did it run smoothly? This is, one of the very first festivals back since the COVID restrictions lifted. Like, we had one a couple weeks ago in Norco that had 12,000 people for Country Fest. And this is the first multi-day festival, even though it's not your traditional Coachella type of multi-day festival. Do they have enough security? Are the lines moving? Are they keeping people distanced? Even though we don't really have to be distance anymore with the guidelines, I'm really interested to see how people are acting. And are you going to wear a mask? I'll be honest, I'm kind of I don't know how to feel about, should I wear a mask? Because I don't have to wear a mask anymore, but I'm outside, but I'm going to be around thousands of people. What about you? Are you bringing a mask with you? Am I going to look lame if I bring a mask, even though I'm vaccinated?
I don't want to bring one, but I think that they're starting to say you're supposed to wear them, or they're starting to recommend that you wear them again, but I wasn't planning on bringing one. What about you, Rico?
With me, I'm going to bring one, but I'm not going to wear it unless I have to, or unless I feel like I'm in a situation where I have to. I kind of bring a mask with me anyway, no matter what, because you never know what establishment will have what restriction.
Yeah.
So I just make sure to have one on me, just in case. But overall, yeah, I think I have the same questions as well. I literally just thought about it today. What are people going to be doing? Are people going to be wearing masks? Are people going to be distancing? I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm vaccinated, so I'm not really that worried about it, but it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's kind of the stuff I'm thinking about, too. And, how are the shuttles going to work? Are people going to be waiting in line forever for the shuttles? What is the sound like? Again, this is a brand new venue. So those are probably the biggest things I'm going to wander around and see. And I'm also a big thing for me is does Insomniac pull it off? Does it look like a real cool festival vibe, or does it feel like you're standing in the parking lot of a stadium and we're basically living our grown-up Warped Tour from 20 years ago? That's going to be a big thing for me to look at. I'm also hoping, I haven't looked at the weather for Saturday. I'm kind of afraid.
I actually did.
Should I be afraid?
No, you shouldn't. Okay. It actually is going to be 72 degrees. Ooh. It's going to be actually relatively nice.
Okay.
The sun's going to be out, right. So people need to wear their sunscreen or wearing their hats or whatever, but it's going to be 72. So unfortunately, I don't think there's no ocean breeze, but hopefully it stays a little bit cooler. We'll see.
That's fantastic. All right. I can deal with this. I'm all right. I mean, what about you? I mean, how do you guys feel? Because this is the first festival that we're all going back to. How are you feeling about it?
Personally, I'm so excited. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Tom and I said the exact same thing. I am excited because it's going to be my first festival back since I think I had passes to go to Cross Festival, but I didn't go. I ended up selling those to take a trip to Mexico, which didn't happen because of COVID. So I missed out on that one, which was the last festival that happened down in San Diego before COVID hit. But I'm just excited to see people out and about, dancing, having a good time, not really worrying about, COVID and all that stuff. So I'm super excited about that.
And the lineup's awesome. I mean, I had no idea what to expect when they first announced that they were going to have this music festival. There's a cool backstory there because I was actually in the process of thinking about moving to San Pedro and seeing that they had, this is last July, and then they announced this festival for a year out. And it really kind of helped seal the deal. Wow, I didn't really know how to feel about San Pedro, but then seeing there's going to be a music festival there by Insomniac, that actually made me think okay, San Pedro's cool. I actually more serious about this now. And I had just no idea what to expect from the lineup. But there are a lot of great artists from Coachella that I'm excited to see. Chromeo, Diplo, Nora En Pure, Tchami, list goes on. And we'll definitely get through talking about some of these artists and our experiences with them at Coachella. But the lineup is sick. Really excited to see some top class music and just to experience the whole vibe. And
it's a lot, the lineup's a lot different than other Insomniac festivals, I think. This definitely has more of a house vibe, and you've got, more funk, obviously, with Chromeo, playing. So I'm really interested in this because I've covered Nocturnal Wonderland before. I think I covered Beyond Wonderland. Those are definitely more like there were definitely times when it was like pretty much I felt like every stage only had dubstep at all times. And so I think that this is going to be interesting. And I wonder, like, I mean, it's not totally the rave scene. So like, I wonder if we're going to see people with their candy coming out. I have no idea what to expect. I'm kind of excited about that I have no idea what to expect. Cause I'm like, we're going to go, we're going to see what it's like. And we're going to see some music and be outside when it's only going to be 72. Rico made me feel a lot better about that. So it's going to be good. But I mean, it's interesting that you bring up that it was announced last summer. I mean, like when this was announced, like nothing was happening.
Yeah.
We didn't know when anything was ever going to come back.
Everything was just everything was totally canceled. It was totally silent in terms of music festivals. Then they announced this and it was like, whoa, okay, that is surprising. Mm-hmm. I had very little expectation. Did not think Chromeo would be playing.
Yeah. I'm expecting some pretty chill vibes. The lineup itself has a good variety of just like house music, more funky stuff. I'm just expecting to see some, like, I would say in terms of like the age range, I think it's probably going to be like trending toward maybe like people that are in their like late 20s, you know, maybe something like that, or maybe even early 30s. I think there'll be a good variety of different types of people. I don't know if I'll see anybody with like candy and stuff like that. I feel like there's not enough like hard raging music on this end. So, but I'm excited for it. It's definitely like a vibe that I like. I do trend toward both. I like chill music, chill house music. I like techno music. I like hard rage music. So, you know, every once in a while I like to like try different things.
Vanessa, I was really surprised on our last episode with Justin Cohen when he asked, you know, who do you want to see at the next Coachella? And you said Chromeo. And it was so awesome. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God, I love them.
Can you just tell me a little bit about, you know, your times you've seen Chromeo before and just kind of rehash some of the reasons why you love them so much?
Well, you know, I think I'd heard them, and I'm always down for like something to dance to, right? And I feel like, so I'm a huge Hall & Oates fan, like unironically, like I love Daryl Hall and John Oates, and Daryl Hall has this TV show Live from Daryl's House, and he brings like artists up, and like Chromeo was on there, and they're like doing like Hall & Oates songs with him, and he's doing Chromeo songs with them, and it was so cool. And I think that's when I like really started paying attention to them more, and I love them. And then I'm trying to remember the last time we played Coachella. They're so much fun live when they've got when they've got the band, and you know they've got the keyboard stands with the women's legs. Like it's fun. It's fun. Like, and I love, you know, Nile Rodgers and Cheek, and it's very much in that same kind of like funky house, like poppy, like it's just good time music. So I love them, and they were probably my like I don't know if you really have a favorite thing from quarantine, but they were releasing these hilarious songs about the pandemic. Quarantine Casanova,
6 feet away.
That's how I'm gonna love you from 6 feet away. Yeah, it's so good. Like Clorox Wipe, like that song, Clorox Wipe is the song I played the most last year. Like that's what Spotify told me. It's like you listen to the song a ridiculous amount, to the point where I think my husband hates that song now because I'm obsessed with it. But that whole EP, and it was like funny because like they were recording it like while we were all in lockdown, like on Instagram. And it was great because it was them and they're writing these great songs, but it's also funny. And like, it was also went to charity. It was good all around.
It came out quick too. Did it come out like in April or May or something like that? So they were on top of it.
Yeah.
With your Hall & Oates thing, I listened to an interview with Dave One, right? So he's the front man for Chromeo. And he was talking about how a lot of this 80s music has like a negative stigma for like people who live through that, because they're just kind of like, the images are just kind of cheesy. You know, Hall & Oates were like wearing makeup and big hair, but like our generation or millennials, just like we didn't experience that. You know, it's just new to us. And if you just take it for what it is, just the music by itself is actually really good.
It's so good.
And it's fresh. And if you didn't live through that time, it's new to us. Some of it kind of sounds like, well, they have a new live album with a full band, and it kind of sounds like Morris Day in the Time. Do either of you get that reference?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes.
So their new live album has like all this extra percussion and like musical breakdowns and interludes and like cool transitions. They don't play the guitar solos from the album, which I have to be a little bit of a stickler, because like even though I know that both Dave and P-Thug, they're more like synthesizer players and they're like virtuoso on like making awesome synth sounds and not so much with the guitar. I could just go for a little bit more.
And Dave can play the guitar. He can play.
He can't play what's on the record. That's the thing. Like even
true.
Night by Night, you know, it has that epic solo.
Yeah.
I get that. It's not their thing. They can play, but it's just not. I would say just like even just overdub it. Like no one cares if you just bring in someone else and just like have that epic guitar solo. Like dude, even though it's a live album, just come into the studio and have someone else record that because I want to hear those solos note for note. They're a little bit more slap bass, you know, like because how awesome is that? No one does that funky slap bass anymore except P-Thug. I just want to hear a little bit more of it and get them out from behind the keyboards. We'll see how much guitar they're playing on Saturday because I could go for more. That's my only thing on them.
Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting because like I feel like on their Instagram, right? Like Dave's been playing a lot more guitar lately. So let's see if he breaks out the guitar and we got some more riffs going on Saturday.
I think they're going to bring it. I mean, every time I've seen Chromeo, like they bring it. They're really good showmen and they rock out. So I'm excited to see them for sure.
I missed them one year at Coachella. It was them versus what's the band's name with the guy from the Shins and Danger Mouse. Definitely Vanessa, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, Broken Bells.
Broken Bells. So it's like, okay, I've seen Chromeo a bunch of times. I have to go see Broken Bells. I love Danger Mouse. I love Gnarls Barkley. And it was like the thing where Broken Bells ended and then I could see like the last 15 minutes of Chromeo. And I just went over to Chromeo and it just like was like way better than what I was seeing at Broken Bells. And it's just like, okay, yes, I still love you, Chromeo. They just rocked Broken Bells' ass off. And then they played in 2018, which is the year I didn't go, but I watched it on VR and it was awesome. Like I just felt like I was front row center watching them and just like jumping up and down in my house. It was so fun to watch that on VR.
That was the main stage set, right?
Main stage during the day, maybe like right before Cardi B or right after Cardi B or something like that.
That was so much fun. Oh, it was so much fun.
And Rico and I saw them in 2017, a couple days after Rico's wedding. Rico got married and then like Crossfest was like the next day.
I love it.
So I get to go to Crossfest with the bride and groom and my wife, and the four of us just had the time of our lives. And I can't remember who played first, who played second, but we were right up front for Chromeo and Cut Copy. Man, that was like the time of my life, Rico.
Dang, that brings me back, bro. That brings me all the feels right there. We had such a good weekend. That was so much fun.
Great after wedding party, that's for sure. Rico, who else are you excited to see, man?
I think first and foremost, you know, I'm a huge Nora En Pure fan. I've like followed her for a long time. I've listened to her purified radio broadcast she does every weekend. I'm really excited to see her. She is consistently bringing out good music. She obviously produces her own music. She just did this live stream in like Switzerland where they do it all, where they do these drone shots going through like the landscape, and her music is just like super. It's funny as like a man, I just say like it's super beautiful. Like it's such beautiful music, spiritual, ethereal. It's like exactly what I like out of music. So I'm excited to see her. Yeah,
because she uses beautiful instrumentation, right? It's like piano, violins, classical music. She really plays up nature and all of like the imagery that she does. The whole thing about Switzerland is awesome. I'm obsessed with Switzerland. You know, I very much celebrate my Swiss heritage. I have a bunch of like Swiss stuff around my house. So I'm obsessed that she's Swiss. And it's just like she's like Mother Nature. She has channeled the beauty of nature through music. And it's just so, I feel just very wholesome and pure. Of course, like with the radio podcast she called, it's called Purified Radio, right? And that's her name, Nora En Pure. So it's pure. And I noticed she doesn't use a mic at all when she performs. Like, you know, some of these DJs are just like shouting so much stuff into the mic, and she just is like lets all the music speak for herself. It's just like such beautiful music. That's the perfect word that you picked.
Yeah, I think that as a female artist, you know, I love seeing female artists that can come out and bring it like that. Every time I see her play, like she just mixes very well. She mixes all of her own music with all the artists that are just right now like doing really good music. A lot of them are the people that are underneath her, you know, purified umbrella. But she always finds really good music on her purified radio broadcast that she does every weekend. That's what I listen to every Monday. Every Monday morning when I'm working, the first thing I turn on is a purified radio because I'm like, perfect. This is something that will just start my week off well with some good music. What I like about it too is that when she plays at night, like she knows how to go really deep. Like she can get really like deep and just with those like very, what's the word? Very like those sounds where it's very primal in a way.
Yeah.
So like it just hits you really hard, but then she can get very like where it hits your heart as well. And you just like feel like you're just like floating in heaven. So I don't know. I just really like her, man. I really like her music. I'm excited to see her, and it's gonna be nice to be out there because she, like I said, she just brought out a lot of good music. Her latest single, I think, is called like Aquatic. Like it's really good.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see her.
I saw her in 2019, and she played in Sahara. I think she closed out the Sahara playing after Diplo, which was really interesting set time for her to go after Diplo. And, the tent was obviously really packed for Diplo, and it kind of emptied out for her a little bit. But that was a great stage for her to play at Coachella. Great memories from 2019.
Yeah, I wasn't at that Coachella. I think I was at her first Coachella she played. I believe it was like 2016, I believe it was. But I've seen her at Crossed. I've seen her a bunch of times when she was playing in San Diego, where I used to live. And then one time she played like this like pre-party before Crossed, and it was literally like 50 people there. And I don't know how the heck that happened. Like she just played this small little party. It was such like this intimate little party at a restaurant. And me and my wife were like front row. And at one point I was taking a selfie, trying to take a selfie with me and my wife. And she just grabbed the camera and she's like, here, let me take the picture. So she just took the camera and took the selfie with me and her and my wife. That's a really good picture that we have. But yeah, she's awesome. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of hers.
That's awesome.
Definitely. So who else are you excited to see?
Diplo, just because he's like a party animal and just always plays really good music, plays really like pumping sets that make you want to dance. And, he's a really good showman on the mic. So I'm really excited for that. I've seen him a couple of times, but it's been a while since I've seen him.
Yeah, I want to talk about Diplo too, for sure.
Yeah.
So
we definitely talk about Diplo.
I'm such a sucker for pop music. I love all the hits. And the thing that I really love about Diplo is how he incorporates different world music artists. Mm-hmm. The whole Major Lazer thing was, of course, he gave a platform for all these Jamaican artists. And he's done different things in Brazil and Africa. And so it's a great combination of just like those big hits that we all know and love. Like at one point, Lean On was the biggest song on Spotify. And then you get to some cool like tribal beats and different kinds of world music that he's just very creative the way he incorporates that. And also I saw a great documentary that just came out about a year ago where he played in Cuba. And it was just really beautiful and moving. Like if you can just watch like the last 10 minutes of that, where it shows like the highlights of his set playing to Cuba. Like they had no idea what was going to happen, who was going to turn up or anything. And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people ended up showing up. So I was really excited just to talk about like how much I really like Diplo. And I feel like he got kind of a bad rep because a lot of people think he's kind of douchey. But then just now I was reading that I guess he does have a pretty long track record of being kind of sketchy with women. So I guess maybe some of that douchey reputation might have some merits. What are your thoughts, Vanessa?
Well, I mean, I think that Diplo is really unique and that you can pretty much put him on any festival happening, right? Like, I mean, he does so many different kinds of music, and he legit had the Stagecoach after party in 2019. It was the most fun I had at Stagecoach. He brought out Lil Nas X. Like, and this is at the point where like Old Town Road is blowing up. It is the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
And he's the one who gets Lil Nas X out for that.
That song was so big in 2019. I was so expecting Lil Nas X to make an appearance at Coachella, but he didn't. He comes to Stagecoach.
He comes to Stagecoach because it's country song. And I think Billy Ray Cyrus was there too. I mean, it was huge. And I think that like, and one of the things that I remember hearing about it is that like Diplo approached Goldenvoice about it, and like everyone's like yeah, and then no, he like came to, he's like, I'm serious about this, and like had this whole thing, and he's like, this is what I want to do, and that's how it started. I'm really hoping they bring that back in 2022. I know they were supposed to bring it back last year. It was really fun. It was really fun. Like, I mean, it was the Sahara Tent, but with everybody who was at Stagecoach, or at least the young people at Stagecoach, who also might have been at the Sahara Tent during Coachella. I did not expect, I really totally went into it thinking I was going to hate it, but I loved it. So he's so interesting. Like you said, you mentioned Major Lazer. Like, probably my favorite Diplo at Coachella moment was Major Lazer, I think in 2013, when he was like in a human hamster ball. Like maybe, yeah. We know that the Flaming Lips did it first, but that was fun. And there were vuvuzelas. Like anytime, like I know people find them annoying. I think they're great. And it was just a blast. And I can't remember if it was the Gobi or Mojave tent. And it was just wild. It was so much fun. And it was like late afternoon. I want to say it was like 4 or 5. And it was a blast. It was a party. And I feel like wherever he is, there's a party.
Yeah, so I was there. I need to talk about that because I remember just thinking like, this is the peak of my 20s. It was just perfect. I was 26 and it was just such a silly set, just so fun. And it wasn't quite sunset, but the sun was getting kind of low and it was just perfect.
Yeah, I was there as well. I want to say that was probably the record for the most women I've ever seen twerk in my entire life at once. I think my wife was twerking. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife was twerking. Like all the girls I was with, they were just having such a good time. Everybody, talk about primal. Like it was like a primal situation going on there where everybody's having such a great time. I totally feel you guys.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like wherever he goes, he brings the party,
Definitely.
Right? Like it doesn't matter because he's a shapeshifter. Like it can be a part. It's really interesting. He actually, this is a true story. He came out to the Inland Empire. He stopped in Corona, like at a McDonald's, I think, or at the gas station next to McDonald's. He ended up like playing. We just wrote a story about this. He ended up hearing music from a fan of his, and he shared it on his TikTok. Like, how cool is that? I mean, that's kind of a cool thing. Like, he found the random guy, like kid at McDonald's, and was playing his music. And I mean, I love those kind of stories. So I hope that, I don't know, I'm expecting we're going to have a party, whatever he plays. I have no idea what he's going to play, but it's going to be a party.
It's interesting about the shape shifting, thinking about how he can even like do it with country music as well. He's just working with so many different artists. He worked with Robin, who's one of my favorites, and Sia, who's another one of my favorites. So I'm just a sucker for those pop jams. It's gonna be so fun to see him. I'm glad that you guys are excited about it too. It's gonna be good because I feel like he gets a lot of crap. Diplo, ha ha ha. He's everywhere. He's kind of ubiquitous. Is that the right word, Vanessa?
Yeah, but I mean, he's ubiquitous because like everybody. I mean, he's ubiquitous in the way that like Beyonce and Taylor Swift are ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, you have to have like. There's a reason that people like the music. It's called pop music. It's pop for a reason. It's popular. Do you think he's going to bring any special guests for Day Trip?
Oh, it'd be a great opportunity to, right, in LA.
Right? I think it would be fun. I don't know.
I'd love to, if Sia came, I would just freak out. Because he played some of the stuff that he did with Sia at Coachella in 2019. And I guess, she's kind of has had a bad reputation. I saw something like artists who got canceled in 2020, and she was one of them. I guess she had a little bit of controversy as well. So she's due to come back, and I would love to see her. That would be my favorite one. That if he brought her out, it would be sick.
Who do you think, Rico? Who do you think that Diplo should bring out?
I think he should bring out definitely Justin Bieber. I think Bieber should definitely be there. Didn't he come out with the new album last year or something?
Yeah.
Well, should come out. I don't know. Some bigger artists.
He should bring out Mo for Lean On.
There you go. Exactly.
I want to talk about Tchami. Vanessa, did you have more on Diplo?
Well, I was just going to say, what's interesting is he's one of the artists who's playing both days of Day Trip, because when Day Trip was first announced, it was just one day. And then it was so popular, they added a second day, and the lineup, like Chromeo is only playing on Saturday. And it's interesting that he is one of the only artists playing both days.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's got the repertoire for it. He's been doing this for a long time. I think he can handle it.
Yeah, and I think that'll also help them sell more tickets too. Like, oh, Diplo's playing on Sunday as well. Let's go Sunday. If people can't make it Saturday, I don't know.
Okay, so another artist I wanted to talk about was Tchami. Sorry, I just couldn't hold back anymore. He's a French DJ, moved to Miami, and he came up with this term called Future House. And his music really has a spiritual vibe, but then again, he also has a lot of hits too, where he produced Rain on Me by Lady Gaga. And I remember Lady Gaga had tweeted or posted something like, oh, I guess I can't play Coachella anymore because Tchami was supposed to play in 2020. My thought was she would probably come out for him, right? So the guy's a big time pop producer. He helped produce one of my favorite songs of all time, Turned Down for What by Little John. I reference that song regularly in conversation.
That's a great song. I mean, as you should. No hate here. But
he had an album come out in 2020, and the album is beautiful. He's got a great collaboration on there with Zoo, and he's really tapped in, kind of like Nora En Pure, a lot like Nora En Pure, where a lot of it has a very spiritual vibe, spiritual content in the lyrics, very uplifting, deep music that's just very beautiful. Rico, you excited to see Tchami?
Definitely excited. I've never seen him live before, so it'll be my first time, but I love his music, so that'll definitely be one of the highlights of the weekend. Definitely excited for that. And, you know, I'm stoked to see it with you because I know you like him so much. So that's going to be cool to see you like vibe out to it.
Yeah. He literally turned the Sahara in 2016 into a stained glass church and brought out a choir to sing Gangsta's Paradise. So he really plays up these visuals of stained glass spirituality. And you guys know I love that stuff. I really feel a strong spiritual connection to the music, and I think he's really going to tap into that nerve. Anyone else that we're excited to see, guys?
I have a couple of people. I'm excited to see John Summit. He's got that like tech house vibe, you know, has some really good vocals to his music that I feel like are going to hit really well with the crowd. Marshall Jefferson is another person I'm excited to see because it's super funky and it's just got that like old school funk vibe that you really want to just like dance to and just like get funky to. Yeah. That's gonna be a lot of fun, you know. I feel like that's gonna be another highlight. And then like Vintage Culture, again, another one that has super good vocals, can get down with the type of vibe that I like. But what about you guys? What else do you guys want to see?
Okay, I want to see AC Slater for one reason, because every time I see AC Slater on a lineup, I automatically think Saved by the Bell. And for whatever reason, I have missed him. And so I just want to go so I can tweet Saved by the Bell jokes from the festival.
That's funny.
Medusa is another good one too. Got into some of his jams. He's got some cool collaborations. It's going to be awesome.
I'm just so excited to see all of the music and make a ton of new memories with you, just like we do every year at Coachella. So with that in mind, Rico, share some of your favorite Coachella memories with us.
Yeah, I think in terms of my favorite memories, my first ever one. I mean, I feel like everybody can connect with that first one they've been to, especially the people who love Coachella. It was the one that just really opened my eyes to what music festivals were and how like communal they were, where you can meet people from around the world. I didn't really know about the scene before that. Before that, I was just kind of into like, you know, at college, just partying, having a good time at the beach. And then I heard about Coachella and I was like, yeah, let's try this out. Why not? I think the reason we even checked it was because one of my favorite bands, Cut Copy, was playing, and we're like, hey, they're playing at this huge music festival in India. Like, we've never done anything like this before. Let's just go. So me, my friend Cami, and Chris, we all just went and we decided, let's just do it. We did tent camping. So we did tent camping for our very first one. And that's when I was like, I want to do this every time. Because again, I kept meeting people the entire time from all over the world. I met people from Australia, from Japan, from New Zealand, Mexico. You know, it was such a cool scene. I mean, and then that specific one actually ended up having my all-time favorite moment from Coachella, even to this day, which I feel like a lot of other people can connect with, was the Arcade Fire set and specifically their ball drop that they did for their encore when they did Wake Up. That was just one of those moments in my life that I can still picture. When I close my eyes, I can still picture it because I had snuck on to like the security or like the middle area where they do like the sound. Mm-hmm. And there was like a little security perch where a security guard was standing, but for some reason he had left. And I saw this. I hopped over that little fence and I jumped on that security perch. So I was like hovering above the entire crowd, watching this happen, seeing the balls going crazy, jumping up and down, everybody jumping up and down. I had lost my friends. They were further into the crowd, but I didn't care. I was just looking around, looking at everybody dance, smiles on their faces, singing, laughing. And it was just one of those like surreal moments in your life that you're always going to remember for sure. So that's a pretty big moment.
You're missing a pretty big detail with that ball drop.
What about the ball drop? Oh,
you grabbed the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yes, exactly. So it specifically actually wasn't me that got the ball. My friends, Kimmy and Chris, who were closer up, they're the ones who grabbed the ball, and then they basically like bestowed it on me. They were like, "Here, you can keep this because you know we feel like you'll take really good care of it." So they ended up giving it to me, and I was just holding it the entire time when we were leaving the festival. And to this day, I still have it. It's not obviously not inflated or anything. I like deflated it. And I, kind of folded it up nicely, and it's basically inside of a box in my dad's garage, but it's safe there. Trust me. And one day I'll bring it out. Yeah, one day I'll bring it out, and I'm gonna get it out and blow it up and like get all the internals. The inside is basically like a circuit box that controls like how it lights up and everything. All I really need to do is just put a new battery in it, and I think there's like a little switch. You just flip it on, and all the lights come on. I did it once before, but I haven't done it in a long time. So So I still have it. So I know Tom was asking me about it recently. He was like, I want you to get it out. I want to see it. I want to like, you know, so one day when I get everything, one day when I like go through my dad's garage and he has a lot of my like miscellaneous stuff that I didn't have enough room in my house. I'll go there and I'll get it and I'll bust it out. But yeah, that's a really good memory to have. And I think there's a sticker on it as well that has like a little website that you can go to like post a picture of you with it. So I haven't gone to that website in a long time. I wonder if it even still exists. That
was 2011, right? I wonder, it's 10 years later. I wonder if we can find other people, like the people who have the balls, like whatever happened to them? Where are these people? Yeah. And like now I know, we know it's in your dad's garage, but like, I wonder if anybody else, what they've done with this. I'm on it, guys. I'm going to look into this.
10-year anniversary.
Arcade Fireball people.
Yeah, I wonder how many there were too. I would estimate probably maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like 200 of them, maybe? I don't even.
It's like a decent guess.
Yeah,
probably about 200. You know what? I could go back. This is what I'm gonna do. All right, getting into investigative journalist mode. I was like, I know we have a photo of like when they all dropped. I'm like, I wonder if I could go back in time. Well, not back in time, but like go back in our archive and like count how many there were, or at least give us a better idea. I'm on it. If anyone listening has one of the arcade fireballs and wants to tell us, leave us a comment so we can find you and talk about your arcade fireballs.
Yeah. And I remember leaving the Arcade Fire finished off, I believe I forget the first or second day. I can't remember at this point, but I remember leaving, going back to the campgrounds and having one of them. And like, it was buzzing around. Everyone that I heard or was talking as they were leaving were like, did you see Arcade Fire? Did you see Arcade Fire? Oh, I missed it. I can't believe I missed it. Why did I go to so-and-so? I should have been at Arcade Fire. And I was like, yeah, I was there. Here's the ball. Oh man, it was so much fun just thinking about it. So much fun.
Amazing.
And then I would say the other memories that I have, I think taking my now wife, girlfriend at the time, taking her to her first Coachella. I was like madly in love with her, and I was like, "What's a good way to get her to like really fall in love with me?" So for Valentine's Day, I took her on this like awesome date. We did. I took her to this like glass blowing class, and we like made cups and stuff, and she was having a good time. And then at the end of the day, like I busted out the Coachella tickets. I'm like, "Hey, and also I'm taking you to Coachella." And I remember the look on her face. She's like, "What? You're going to take me to Coachella? Ooh, like hell yeah!" And I think when we actually went together, that's when we like super fell further in love. And hey, now we have a little baby because of it. We're married. But yeah, just taking her to her first Coachella. I think it was 2013 was her first Coachella. That was the one with like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Swedish House Mafia. That was a really good Coachella.
I wonder if you had a similar experience to me, because I did something similar with Anne, right? And she wasn't into cool Coachella type music really, but she just totally got into it from that point and hasn't looked back and has been a pretty savvy music fan since. Is it kind of similar with Sarah, where she maybe didn't know a lot of the artists, but then she really got into it like through the process?
Yeah, she had been to festivals before. Before that, she had been to Ultra Music Festival in Miami, which is something that I actually haven't ever been into. But I think what Coachella helped her do is open her eyes to a lot of different types of music, because she was, she was into like pop music and like EDM, but it exposed her to like a lot more of like rock, indie, hip hop, funk, R&B music. So I feel like it was a really good time for us to explore, and it helped her explore a lot more of that music scene.
Cool. Talk a little bit more about camping, because you've always been my camping guy. I never camped in all the years that you went, but I always come and hang out at your campsite. So many good times there. What has camping meant to you over the years? Yeah,
I mean, I feel like that's the only way that I ever want to do Coachella. I think my wife at this point would disagree. I think she's like, no, let's get a place and do VIP. But because it's hard to do, man. Like, no joke, it's really hard to do it because you're in the elements. You're out there. It gets really cold at night and it gets hot as hell during the day. And you don't really have anywhere to escape to other than, getting some shade from like your Easy Up and spraying yourself down with, your misters or whatever. But I would say that I did it, like I said, the first time I did it was 2011, and I did tent camping, which was awesome because I met some really cool people. You're right next to each other. But from the next one on, I did car camping, which I feel like is awesome because you have your car there. It's like an extra space. So I would say like anybody who's going to do it, make sure you're committed because, like I said, it can get really hot during the day and cold at night. And make sure you bring your Easy Ups, make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen, bring games to play, and just be ready to meet new people. And make sure that you explore the grounds themselves if you're going to be camping, because you can find some really cool little like hidden gems of little mini festivals happening. I remember one time we were exploring the grounds and just randomly like stumbled upon this straight up just like EDM festival happening in the campgrounds with like 100 people just dancing. And I don't know how these people got in all of that equipment. They had like generators and like massive speakers, and everybody was having a good time passing beers and who knows what around, little party favors around. Another part that's cool about tent camping is all the activities they have there. They have the center area where they have an actual stage where DJs can play, and they also have like an art area where you can make little knickknacks like little pins and little pieces that you can kind of take with you to remember your time at Coachella. There's also plenty of food there that you can nourish yourself in case you didn't bring any food yourself, which you should probably be bringing food if you're going to be going to the tent camping. Bring a cooler stocked with plenty of your favorite drinks and the food you want. I think one year we probably brought like 6 coolers, and I think one of them was dedicated to food and the rest were dedicated to like beer and alcohol to last us the weekend. Because I'm a giver. Like one of my favorite things to do at Coachella is just like literally walk around with like 30 packs of beer and just hand them to people and just be like, hey, have a good Coachella, like happy Coachella, enjoy a beer.
You're like beer Santa.
Yeah,
like this.
I am.
Do
I'm
people
totally
think that you're a mirage because you're in the desert? Like, oh my God, this guy really giving me a beer? I love that.
Yeah. So just to talk about like that, going back to that stage that they have in the campgrounds, one time I got all of my buddies were inside and we realized that we were getting really thirsty. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back and see if I can sneak in some beers. And I went back and I just grabbed an entire 30 pack that we had and I brought it back to that stage. And I remember thinking like, I wonder if this can make it over that fence. And I just literally chucked it over the fence. And then I snuck back into the little grounds they had and I got it into the stage. And I was in the middle of the stage with a 30 rack of beer and I was just like handing them to people. It's like, have a good time, like enjoy this. And people were like, how the hell did you get this in here? Because you're not allowed to bring that in there, but I don't know, I snuck it in. You get pretty resourceful when you get in there and just kind of do what you got to do. So
it's episode 3 where we have a whole half hour of your camping tips. So if anyone wants to go back, get the full story of the full breakdown on everything you need to know about camping at Coachella, check out episode 3 with Rico Lopez. Any other tips, or do you want to talk a little bit about who you have wanted to see in 2020?
Oh my God, in 2020, I mean, right off the bat, first artist I had never seen live, Rage Against the Machine. I mean, I've always wanted to see them live, and then they broke up, and then to hear they were coming back, I was like, man, I really want to be there. In terms of like going to 2020, it wasn't really going to work out for me because we just had our daughter in 2019. Yeah. We were in a place where we kind of wanted to use our money elsewhere and then just be with our daughter. And then COVID hits, like we couldn't even go anymore. So it didn't really matter in the end. I'm curious to see if Rage will be coming back. Hopefully they do,
yes.
Because
we're pretty sure they are.
They are,
we
right?
think
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah, it has to happen. I mean, that's a huge get in terms of a reunion set. Coachella always has the best reunion sets, and that's the one. I've heard so many stories about Rage shows where, the injuries and the people that are, having a good time.
I've heard the best stories about the Rage shows. Where
the injuries.
I mean, that's what you expect when you go to Rage show. It's literally in the title, Rage Against the Machine. Like people are going to be going nuts. A buddy of mine.
Watch out for that fence.
Yeah, right. A buddy of mine went when they played at the Memorial Coliseum, and he said it was the craziest show he ever been to. That there was a mosh pit literally the size of the Coliseum, and that at one point he was just stuck in the middle of it, and he came out with like a black eye, and he messed up his bag, and like people were like stepping all over him. But he said he didn't regret it, and he would do it again in a heartbeat because it was incredible, and the energy that Rage brought was one of the things that he loved experiencing, and I want to be a part of that. So at some point in my life, I will definitely be seeing them live. And then other artists. I'm really into EDM, so I would love to see like artists like Grizz, who's like super funky and brings it. Lane 8, which is more of like something that I would expect to probably be at like Day Trip, super chill vibes, deep house. I really like Toki Mansa. She has those spiritual vibes as well. And she's got those like funky kind of downtone vibes where you can listen to it and just kind of relax in a way. She has really good music that I like. And another one, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Hatsune Miku. I was super interested to see how that was going to be. It's basically like an anime cartoon that they have music to, and it's like this virtual act that's like huge in Japan. So I was interested to see how that was going to be because Coachella likes to bring those like super weird artists to come in, like something that you like an experience, right? Like like an event.
Yeah, like I mean, but you nail it, right? Like that, like when the hologram happened, the first place the hologram happened was Tupac at Coachella. Like they bring in these a spectacle, if you will.
Yeah, we definitely are all down to see her.
Yeah, I was there for the hologram. I think I was like, I don't know, like 5 rows up from that, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So if that's something that if they bring those same vibes for that that anime act, hopefully she'll or it will be back for the next iteration.
I didn't know you had such a good spot for that, man. That's sick.
Yeah, I was really close for that. I cannot believe that was going down. Is this what's going on right now? Is this real life? Like Tupac's back? Is he really alive? Because it looked that real, even in person. It really looked like Tupac was there. Obviously, after the fact, we're like, oh yeah, it's a hologram. But at the moment, it was just like incredible. Like, oh shit, he's alive.
There's some of the cool smaller acts that I know that we were talking about earlier that you were excited to see. What strikes you there?
I think one of the cool artists that I wanted to see like an undercard act was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I feel like it's like literally the perfect weird just indie rock band that you would want to see at Coachella. That's the one thing I always loved about Coachella is like experiencing just music that I would probably never get to go to in terms of a show or never think to go to a show. Like, oh yeah, this random King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is going to play. Let's go to that. And it probably would have been like one of the best shows that I would have seen there. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys want to see it?
Yes.
I've heard of this band a few times and tried to get into it. It was just a little bit too abrasive for me. I tend to like more beautiful sounding music, and it was just the stuff that I heard before was just a little bit too I don't know, just like violent sounding or just weird.
You don't like psychedelic garage rock. It's okay. It's not for everybody. It's like it's insane. It's insane psych rock.
I was just in the perfect mood for it yesterday preparing for this podcast and just got so into it. I'm so excited about this band now, especially because their new album features a lot of really interesting synthesizers, and it's microtonal, so it doesn't fit our normal structure of music that has 12 notes in an octave. The microtones are like notes within the notes, and it's actually really common in Indian music. So it sounds like a little bit Indian to me, and it's just so unique sounding. I was playing some, I'm always trying to, like, when we're hanging out around the house doing nothing, I always try to put on a concert or some music videos or something. And my son Vincent's always like, no, turn this off. I don't like this. But he was into it. He liked the sound of it. And then he was asking me what it was, and I was like, trying to teach him to say King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So of course he was saying King Lizard and the Lizard, and it was just the cutest thing. And then he was so frustrated and disappointed. He's like, well, where's the lizard? I want to see the lizard. It was awesome. It was so fun. He was just sitting there listening to it. It was really cool. And their new album, Butterfly 3000, just came out, and they release like an album every 6 months. It's crazy. They're so prolific.
Yeah.
And their albums are different. Each one is a concept, and they don't sound alike at all. And this new one's really electronic and happy. And there's even like some songs in there about how one of the guys is excited to become a father. And it just really, beautiful for a young father like myself to have that kind of message in the music. And I think that I'm just going to keep going further down this rabbit hole and check out all of it now, because I get it now, and I'm just really excited about this band. It's kind of thing that, I definitely got to bust out my good headphones and really dive in and explore the depth of this, because I'm there. Like I can see this becoming one of my favorite bands for sure. So thank you, Rico.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I'm so glad that you are like embracing them. So the first time they played Coachella, like I seriously went to check them out because I just thought it was a fun name. And I was like, I'm into this. And they played I think they played outdoor, like early afternoon. I want to say like 1 or 2 o'clock. And I was just like, all right, I'm into this. And I love them there. And then they headlined Desert Days a year or 2 after that. And they were so great. And like Desert Days happens like, I've talked about it on here before, like at Lake Paris, and it's like on the water. It's this huge stage, and it was just like, and they played at like midnight. Like they go really late there, and it was awesome. I loved it, and I was so excited to see them, and I really hope they're going to be back next year. I mean, by next year, they'll have 3 more albums.
That's the thing, is I can't get too excited about this album because I'm sure they'll be onto some new crazy stuff by the time I get to see them.
Yeah, that's true.
What else, Rico? What are some of the smaller bands that you were liking on the lineup?
I'm really into City Girls. They have this
this one surprised me.
Well, I mean, I like hip hop, and then like I feel like again, when I go to Coachella, I'm there for a lot of it. It's like good music, but also spectacle. And I feel like the City Girls would have brought this like crazy, dirty South hip hop with a lot of like attitude, you know, where they would have just had people just like dancing and twerking and just like a lot of just like nastiness. I mean, I feel like that would have been a really fun show to see. And another one definitely is Chicano Batman. I mean, I feel like they're like an awesome band, or another perfect band for Coachella. And I totally feel you, Vanessa, when you said that earlier, like that you sometimes just the band sounds cool, so you're just gonna go see them. I've done that plenty of times at Coachella, where I was like, oh, I had an idea that I wanted to go see a band, I'm like, oh, but this band, the name sounds so cool. Let's just go check it out. And then you just end up, you know, finding this like awesome band that you would never even thought to go see before.
I never thought about that.
Was that Chicano Batman for you?
Yeah.
Is that like how you found them?
Yeah. It's just like a cool name. So I was like, oh, let's just check this band out. And then there you go. I mean, I'm Chicano, so why not check out a band called Chicano Batman?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good marketing on their standpoint, I guess, to Chicano Batman. And I never thought about how good of a band name that is, just in terms of like creating a big tent that a lot of people would want to check that out.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, too, for 2022. Are you ready for my 2022 prediction?
Yes.
We're going to see Chicano Batman. And then I think we're also going to see the lead singer, Bardo Martinez, because he is about to release another solo record in a couple weeks. And they put out that great record last year. So I think we're going to see like one of those rare sets when you see somebody play with like two bands. So I think we're going to see him there. And then we're going to see him with Chicano Batman. Not unlike when Nick Cave played with Bad Seeds and also with Grinder Man. I'm going to go ahead and call that for 2022.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. Rico, how can people follow you if they want to reach out and say hi?
They can follow me on Twitter. I'm big on Twitter. I love Twitter. Enrique A. Lopez. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see some of my pics. A lot of it lately is just family pictures. Not too crazy because I'm a family man. But also Enrique A. Lopez there. Go ahead and follow me and check out my life.
Yeah, hit us up if you want to say hi at Day Trip. Of course, follow us at Can't Feel the Heat. And check out our website at www.can'tfeeltheheat.com.
You have just listened to Can't Feel the Heat, the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival unofficial podcast. Please rate us on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on all of your favorite platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Can't Feel the Heat and check out our website at www.can'tfeeltheheat.com.